If you're considering buying or selling a business, here's some facts you'll want to consider. That's this week on Think Tank Tuesday. Hi, I'm Paul Potratz, and welcome to this week's Think Tank Tuesday. So let me back up. Yesterday, I was having a very engaging conversation with an individual in Las Vegas, and we started geeking out. We were talking about business and business growth and websites that we're selling, and it really got me to thinking, are websites worth money? And yeah, of course they are. Websites are worth money. I mean, Instagram sold for what, $1 billion? What did YouTube sell for? I mean, the list goes on. Think about all of the various websites that's what the company is about, that it's a website company, and they're selling for tens of millions, hundreds of millions, or $1 billion. So it got me thinking, if you have a company, let's say, for example, your company is a service business, or your company is a product business, how critically important is your website? Well, of course, you're going to say, yeah, my website is very important, or maybe you're going to say my website's not very important. So as we started going down this rabbit hole and talking about websites, and I started thinking about a number of business owners out there that might have the opportunity to change their website. And what do? They change their website every single year. They sign a 1-year contract and they change their website again the next year. And while I can understand that, because most of the websites individuals are buying, business owners are not really buying, but leasing, it's just a template. It's a cookie cutter template that many other people in their industry has. But let's think about this for a moment. What is a website exactly? What exactly does a website do for you? And this might be a hard concept for some of you to understand, but I'm sure the majority of you are going to go, yeah, you're right. A website is much more than a glorified business card. It's much more than a digital newspaper ad. Your website is your first line of contact. For years, I've heard that we've got to have a very good receptionist, someone that's very kind and courteous and has a good voice, because that's our first line of communication with a prospective client. But that's not true. It's your website. Your website is the first communication an individual has with your business. And an individual having that communication on your website, what does your website say about your business? And it can say a lot. So your website is more important, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, your website is more important than your storefront. Because I've come across many websites that digital storefront of the website was absolutely outstanding, awesome. And it just had everything I needed to know. I mean, they had product information, they had information about who their clients are, they had information about what exactly is it they do, they had information about their employees, they had information about what are their ethics, their values. It had everything on there, and I felt really good about that website. But here's a question. When was the last time you went to a business's website and you just kind of said, I'm not going to go there? And maybe their storefront was beautiful. Maybe their storefront was $1 billion storefront, but their website was looked like they paid $29 for it. So your website, again, is critically important, but that's not today's topic. Today's topic is, if you're considering buying or selling a business, here's some important facts that you want to consider, that you definitely want to know, that you probably didn't even consider. And if you're a business owner, you need to really think about this. But before I go into that, I'm going to go for a short break. Pay attention to it. It's important because it's talking about business success. And then we'll be right back. And then I'm going to tell you what you've got to consider if you're buying or selling a business.
It was really fun, very fast-paced, very entertaining, very interactive. I would absolutely recommend this to someone else. There's so many resources out there, but this is probably the best bang for your buck that I've ever seen.
Paul was a great speaker and very well-dressed, I may say. Very funny, entertaining, extremely clear. I would definitely recommend this to anyone with a business. Anyone can definitely benefit from this workshop.
And this really was very practical. and it really caught my attention. I would absolutely recommend this experience to anyone.
All right, welcome back. So the question is, how important is your website? Well, we know it's very important, but the bigger fact of the matter is if you're considering buying or selling a business, what are you looking at? How are you valuing that company? Well, you're valuing the company based on what is their gross profits? What is the profit? What is the bottom line? How much money are they making? What is their net profits? How much money are they making and what are their expenses? Of course, that's what you're buying a business based on. So I called a friend of mine and he's in the business of buying and selling businesses because I had some more detailed questions other than how do you establish value of a company? And he said, well, establishing value to a company is much more than looking at the net profit, the gross profit. It also looks at what is their earnings capability? What type of growth have they had over the last 5 years? Is their growth a steady growth or was it a skyrocketed growth? If it was a skyrocketed growth, why did they have that skyrocket growth? Why did they get all of this growth all of a sudden? Is it because their business or their product is a fad? How long can they continue that growth? What is their earnings going to be for the next 4 years, 5 years, 10 years? And that's how they start to establish a value. But he said something that was critically important, establishing the value of a company is not necessarily a science, but an art. And I said, well, tell me about this, Doug. Does it make a difference, the value of the company based on their website? And he said, in fact, it does. That's really a new direction that when a broker is buying or selling a company, they're looking at that company's website. They want to know things like, is the website modern? Is it showing on a mobile platform as well as it does on a desktop platform? What type of traffic does that website have? What is the engagement? And that's a key word right there, engagement of the website. How many leads are they generating off the website? Because the company might be really bad at handling leads, but they have the potential, if there's someone else came into that company, new management or whatever, that they can make that website very profitable. But here's the really interesting part. Not only does the website play a part in the value of the company, and really the point that I'm trying to leave with you is if you're considering buying a company, you need to evaluate the website. You need to look at the website. How many inbound links are coming to that website? How established is that website? How established is the URL? How well does it show up in the search engines? But what is the potential to be able to make more money off of that website? That's the thing that's critically important. But he said it goes farther. And are you ready for this? He also said, it depends on how many Twitter followers do they have. I was like, what? What do you mean Twitter followers? Really? Are you serious? I mean, I could see the value in that. And he said, yeah, when we're establishing the value of a company, we're looking at their Twitter followers and the engagement. Because it's one thing, you could have 1 million Twitter followers, but they might all be porn stars in India for all you know. So he said, we want to know what is the engagement. So what is the actual cash value, the dollar value to their Twitter profile? And he said, we also do the same thing on YouTube, Facebook. They haven't gotten into Snapchat yet. He said, so we are definitely looking at their social media profiles and how much of an audience do they have? Because if they have a good audience and the engagement shows that there's value there, then there's an opportunity to grow that more. And I said, well, that makes perfect sense. And he said, well, yeah, it would, because that could determine the actual profit or the profit opportunity of the company. And I said, but it also makes sense because of how Facebook is changing, how Twitter's changing, how Google's changing. All of those factors, what I'm getting ready to say, hold with me here, is these properties, what they're doing is they're giving shoppers the opportunity to convert to a sale on their website. Let me say that over again. Let me say it differently though. So, case in point example. Facebook has what's called, really it's a lead tool. So someone can see your ad on Facebook, and that individual that sees your ad on Facebook does not click that display ad or that link and come to your website to complete the sale or to actually fill in information for you to call them and follow up. They can put in their information while they're on Facebook without ever visiting your website. They also have the opportunity it's in the early stages to purchase off of Facebook. Google's already doing it with like Google product listings. So do you really need a website? Yeah, you definitely need a website. But the opportunity is starting to expand more and more and more, that you're going to have more opportunities to sell your products and sell your services online. So therefore, all the more reason that your digital footprint is something that you really need to pay attention to. That's this week's tip, and I'll see you next week.